I did. I was actually born here. My father is a Colombian with a very aspirational American dream in his heart and mind. So we were born here, me and my brothers actually, and then we always came here during summer months. So specifically July, we would always come like a couple of weeks or something and just spend our summers here. So that's why I said it's home. You know, it was kind of this place that it was our happy place actually as a family. I always knew I would be an entrepreneur. It's kind of that type of situation where you just know. It's like, do I want to have a family? Yes or no, you know, there's no right or wrong answer, but it's innate in a way, and it's also a little bit inherited in the sense that I did grow up in a very entrepreneurial family. So it was kind of like a nature versus nurture thing. I think it was both. And I would see my father, I would see my mother, and they were all both entrepreneurs. And I guess it caught on to me. It is. When I moved to New York, which is where I originally moved to after graduating from college in Colombia, it was one of those things that I really missed. You don't know what you have until it's gone. So when I was in New York, I was like, wow, I miss all these things from my childhood and from growing up in Colombia, these flavors, these colors, these textures, this ambiance also. So we wanted to kind of recreate that feeling, that time, that place, those flavors in a new and I guess modern atmosphere, because we didn't just want to like copy paste it. It was, how can we also put our twist on it and our personality and our flavors into what ended up becoming Amazonica. I would say Amazonica isn't a healthy fast food company per se, but it's a healthier. We have options. And I guess we have that, or we keep that in mind. And when I say we, I refer to me and my partners. We're very aware, and we kind of represent our own clientele. And we've always had ourselves in mind, and it sounds very egotistical, but it's, who do you know better than yourself? No one. So it's really a reflection of how we like to go out and eat, or what we like to go out and snack, or what we grew up with snacking. Generally speaking, Latin cultures are or have a healthier orientation food-wise. I mean, it's a very at-home and home-style cooked meals all the time. It's not that big going out to eat culture or only fast food culture, although obviously that's changed, and it's very fruit-heavy. And of course, because of our natural surroundings, and there's this saying in Cali where I come from, it's like you drop a seed and a tree grows. And it's true. So you're walking around Cali and there's actually mango trees all around. I mean, it's fruit you could theoretically pick. And we actually do snack on fruit. So it's very typical, for example, in Cali to have green mango with lime and salt at 3 p.m., which is something that would otherwise be unheard of in many places. So we are very fruit heavy, and it's kind of what you see in Amazonica. So we do have things that are completely sugar-free, like an acai bowl, and it's all fruit-based. And then we have very dessert-oriented items on the menu, such as the Hawajjuka waffles with Nutella and ice cream, so it's a dessert. Latins have a very, very, very strong sweet tooth. And I think it has to do also with the fruit situation, now that I think about it. We're accustomed to sweeter, we want sweeter things. We're not very spice-oriented, for example. Colombians, Venezuelans, we're not into very spicy food. That's more of a Central American, Mexico kind of thing. But South America, very, very sweet palate. So I think Miami is that, actually, because if you think about it, 100, 200 years ago, what was Miami? There's no, big cultural heritage like you have, for example, in Mexico, that you have the original tribes that were in Mexico, the Mayas, the Aztecs, whatever. So you kind of have all this cultural baggage, and I mean baggage in a good sense. You know, you have this inheritance. Miami didn't. So Miami really is kind of like this cloth woven out of all these different cultures: the Cubans, the Haitians, the Colombians, the Brazilians, the Argentinians, Venezuelans now in their big migration wave. And Amazonica really is all about that too. That's even why we chose our name, which is Amazonica comes from the word Amazon. And we didn't want it to be, although we have very clear Colombian roots, it's not just about Colombia. And these cultures that share these cultures and these countries that share the Amazon, we have a very similar, I guess, look and feel, cultural heritage, eating habits. It's kind of the same if you think about the United States and Canada. Of course, they're two different countries, but they share a language, not just literally, but like also philosophically. So Amazonica comes as a good manifestation of what you're just asking. It's kind of this merging point of Brazil, Colombia, Venezuela, Ecuador, Peru, the 6 countries that share the Amazon, and represented in a very Miami way. Because that's where Miami comes with its twist, you know? So how do you Miamify something? But that something came from somewhere else. So I moved to Miami 7 years ago, and I'm gonna go a little bit further than just 5, and it's changed dramatically. The whole COVID situation accelerated many of those changes that were already palpable. You could see and you could sense where the city was heading or going towards, but the whole COVID situation really turbo-drived and inspired a lot of people to move to Miami, and we've seen a huge migration from upstate New York, California, you know, Philadelphia, all these other states, and also from some Latin countries which have also accelerated their migration because the situation in their countries is complicated right now. So that naturally has translated into a lot of changes in the city as a whole. Good changes, bad changes, changes. Because of my job, we're opening up our 3rd store in Brickell. We have one in Aventura and the one here in Buena Vista. I'm kind of like a taxi driver. I call around town, but I definitely have those places that I really admire. And a great thing about them is that they're all owned by friends, or I've become friends with them throughout my entrepreneurial experience in Miami. And one of them, and I definitely suggest it, is Cindy Lou's Cookies. And she's from Puerto Rico, and she does like the most amazing desserts ever. And wherever I go, I always take her cookies, or I like to. If I take you to Cindy Lou's Cookies, you're close to my heart. You know, that's a big deal for me. But there are other places too that I really admire. For example, one is Hato, which is a new restaurant in Wynwood by a Peruvian chef called Henry Hani, which is amazing. I also recommend another place that is owned by a friend of mine, which is Abale, and it's in South of 5th. He's a Colombian chef that's doing Israeli food, but he's doing Israeli food with a twist. It's a completely different experience. The quality of the food is insane. I mean, I'm just thinking about going now that I'm talking about it. But there are also other cool places that I always suggest that are doing different things. Now there's a very hip bar called Dante's, and it's in Wynwood, Dante's Hi-Fi, and they only play live vinyl sets. So the DJ is actually DJing, you know, live, and it's in a very different ambiance than what you typically find in Miami. But besides those places, I definitely recommend coming to Upper Buena Vista, which is where I am right now doing this interview. The original Amazonica is here, and it's also a very experience-oriented place, which just transports you. I mean, you come here and you don't even know where you are. And I mean that in a good way. I'm a Miami person, so naturally I'd say the beach is one of those things. But I also have another couple of like secret places I'd like to go to. One is Plant the Future here in Little Haiti. So I'm a lot of the time I'm around Little Haiti. My the Amazonic office is actually in Little Haiti, which is a neighborhood that I've seen evolve and I really believe in. I actually think that Little Haiti is the next big thing, the next cool neighborhood here in Miami. And it's so different, it has so much flavor. And there's this place called Plant the Future, which used to be in Wynwood and now moved to Little Haiti. And they have a little garden right next to a little canal. So I like to go there, and it's like the trees, the landscaping is insane. It's so different, and then there's the water, and it's very quiet. It's right next to a very busy street, but you go there, it's like an oasis, and it's right in front of my office. So that's one place, other than the beach. New Amazonica store in Brickell. And Brickell is also this booming neighborhood, and I actually lived in Brickell when I originally moved to Miami in 2015, and it was already booming, and it had already boomed, but now it just exploded. You know, it's another level, and it used to be very empty. Like, you'd see these tall buildings, but they were all like vacation places, and right now people are actually living there. So there's this very dense city environment, which I really like. There's a lot of energy. It's very like New York on the Caribbean, you know? That's kind of the feel. And we're actually opening up our first Amazonica in that neighborhood very soon. And there are a lot of other really cool places in Brickell that I love to go to. There's Brickell City Center, and it has the Pupeli Sushi. There's also the Bistro, which is an amazing brunch place, and Amazonica. So I can't wait, and I'd love to invite you guys to come as soon as it's open. I think so. I do believe that there is an element in entrepreneurship and in business that you have to give back. It's kind of your responsibility, you know, you're taking up many resources to execute whatever it is that you're offering. So it does make sense, at least in my mind, and ethically, morally, or whatever, to do something that your business and you as a person feel passionately about. In our case, it was very easy because it's the Amazon. It's in our name. And we're selling fruit, and it's kind of our ethos. So we started with a Colombian foundation called Saving the Amazon to try and help save a little bit of the Amazon. And we have a Amazonica forest in the Amazon, and we've donated now up to 300 trees. Every month we donate a little bit more, and I guess month by month we select some of the capital to go towards that. But also, as a company, we try to do our best to be as responsible with climate change and the whole ecological situation as we can. So we only do boxed water, you know, cardboard. All of our materials are either recycled or organic, you know, as in plant-based or wood-based. We try to limit the use of plastic as much as we can, and no single-use plastic is ever doing any good. So we try to remove that. We even do composting. We try to do our best to have as little as an impact we can on the planet.